Welcome to Business Line's State of the Economy podcast, where you'll find insight, analysis, and the story behind the numbers.
Hello and welcome to Business Line State of the Economy podcast on real estate. We discuss the real estate trends that has been in the limelight for 2024, both on the residential and commercial side. Today we have with us Mr. Saurabh Runwal, Director of the Runwal Realty Group. Quick word about Runwal Realty. Runwal Realty is one of the largest real estate developers, known for its commitment to quality, innovation, and customer satisfaction. It is a fairly young company established in 1978 and has developed over 65 projects spanning 30 plus million square feet across Mumbai, Pune, and Thane. Its portfolio encompasses residential, commercial, organized retail spaces, which include the iconic R City Mall in Ghatkopar, the R Mall in Mulund and Thane. With over 4 decades of experience, Runwal Realty Company has successfully delivered iconic projects and created spaces that prioritize customer satisfaction. And about Saurabh Runwal, he is of the third generation of the Runwal Realty family and plays a pivotal role as director of the company. He is an engineering graduate from Columbia University. He oversees sales, marketing, CRM, and residential and retail verticals. Hello, Mr. Runwal, and welcome to Business Line Podcast, the State of the Economy podcast by Business Line on real estate.
Thank you, Abhishek. Thank you for having me.
A quick question, sir, is on what do you see the outlook for real estate, especially residential sales right now? It's been a good year now. It's, I think, the second year in a row where real estate or residential sales have seen good numbers.
Yeah, I think, Abhishek, touchwood, post-COVID, especially in urban centers, if you look at, MMR, if you look at Pune, we've been lucky enough to have robust volume growth as well as price growth. And I think this is one of the few longer runs of a real estate uptake in the market. I think my overall perspective for, second half or last quarter of 2024, as well as for the next financial year, is also fairly bullish. And I think I say that because of one primary reason is that we're seeing across segments, especially in the mid-income and the luxury segment, demand coming from genuine real end user growth. So the prices aren't being driven up by, overexcited investor demand or an asset bubble getting created, but we're seeing a genuine desire for people to upgrade their lifestyle, change their lifestyle, and make that switch into a higher area of desirability. So I think at least for the next year or 2 years, I would say we are going to have fairly robust growth in double-digit numbers in both volume, maybe slightly more muted on the price side, given that there's going to be an increase in supply expected, in the 1 or in the 2+ crore segment specifically.
So any of the outlier markets you see, typically I know real estate considers 7 major markets, which includes the 4 metros, Bangalore, Pune, and Hyderabad or Ahmedabad, depending on the story. But any particular market you see as an outlier now?
Yeah, I think the 2 markets where Runwal is pretty well entrenched, MMR and Pune, I would expect to see sort of an outsized market response. And I think the driving force behind, Pune, for example, is the increased appetite that we're seeing from GCCs wanting to increase their office space absorption. In Pune alone, this year has hit its highest office space absorption. And we're seeing a huge amount of IT talent pour into the city, because of which is having an impact on overall residential sales. In Pune itself, we expect to see outsized sort of positive market sentiment, especially in those areas which cater to IT catchments. So in Pune, you said you're looking at an outside growth. Yeah, I think driven by pockets where will cater to sort of IT office absorption. So I would say around East Pune, Kharadi region, as well as in West Pune, which are sort of upcoming IT hubs, given the inflow of IT talent that's coming into these cities, especially from an appetite from global capability centers as well. Similarly, MMR, I'm extremely bullish because the city continues to urbanize and the push on overall infrastructure development has been extremely robust. The coastal road coming into play, several public transport lines, including the metro lines, as well as improved east-west connectivity, from eastern suburbs and western suburbs. I think all of these pockets will continue to attract. Also, the new airport getting established, hopefully in the next year, will continue to drive positive demographic trends. And both these markets are very likely to see, very stable double-digit growth in volume as well as muted single-digit growth in price.
One question which interests me, you're talking about two markets, Mumbai MMR and Pune in this case. So these are two markets which have a strange price phenomenon. One, Mumbai by nature has a higher price bandwidth in which luxury seems to be doing well. In Pune, it has what has previously been, or today is considered as affordable. So how does this play, luxury versus affordable housing? How is it playing out between these two markets? What is the price band you're seeing, let's say for a Mumbai versus Pune? What sort of price rise has come in between these two markets, let's say over the last 1 year?
Yeah, I think fair question. Mumbai and Pune, I think, are operating completely different price bands. I think on an average per square foot basis, Mumbai pricing might potentially be around 3 to 4x what Pune pricing will be. But I guess when you look at luxury segment, it's driven by a different demographic. There's a lot of businessmen and industrialists, as well as top tier executives that are looking for an upgrade in lifestyle and buying their second or third home. And it's driven mostly by a desire for an upgrade purchase. So people are opting for larger layouts, deeper amenities, and given the supply constraint for grade A luxury residential, we're seeing sort of a uptick in this pricing, especially in belts like Worli, Parel, where the nexus of the city is shifting. Whereas if you look at Pune, the demand has been extremely robust, but it is driven by a completely different catchment, which is more around the IT segment and the employed class. And so the affordability still remains muted. It has to be palatable for those earning a certain salary bracket within 20 to 40 lakhs. And I think that essentially is what drives the pricing trends in both these cities.
Another quick question again on trends, basic trends is, I can't help but ask this. So we have been talking about urban consumption slowdown over the last few weeks, let's say, post the GDP numbers coming out. Any impact of that you're seeing on a place like Pune? Because it's a more, I think, end user driven compared to Mumbai, which is more luxury housing driven.
Yeah, fair point. I think as of now, we are not witnessing any slowdown in even the Pune market. Because I think from the salaried class, we're still seeing, especially since a lot of the demand is driven by people moving into Pune from other cities and wanting to be close to these IT hubs, we're seeing fairly robust demand for these ones.
So you don't believe that there's a housing bubble still? Because why I'm asking this question is there are certain markets, let's say like a Gurgaon or a Noida, or even Mumbai, where the price rise has been phenomenal. And when I say phenomenal, I'm referring to above 30% to at least 100% in micro markets, price rise. So you still don't think this is a bubble that's being slowly forming up and it's end user driven? Or do you have a different viewpoint? Or is there some analysis that we are missing? Or is there some gap somewhere?
No, I don't think it's an asset bubble, because if you look at it, it's driven by genuine organic end user demand. It's not that we're seeing investors run into the market and borrow at crazy rates and sort of throw money into the asset. It's people who are cashing out often on their equity gains from the stock market and investing it in upgrading their lifestyle. So since it's driven by this organic, genuine end user growth and supply has been constrained in these markets for so long, the price rise was fairly natural. What trend I do expect, like I was saying, is that the price hike in the next few years will be slightly muted, because even though the demand will be organic end user demand, the supply that is expected to come in will be higher than it was in the last 2 fiscal years. So that's why I see a more muted inflationary adjusted price increase. But I think demand on the volume side will be robust.
Okay. And as I head towards the end of this podcast, amongst my last few questions, or perhaps my last question is, you've been talking about commercial realty doing well, GCCs coming in, putting up shop in places like Pune. Bombay has always been considered as the commercial capital of India. So right now, what is the outlook on commercial real estate in terms of rental movement and that impacting residential?
I think very bullish on that. The commercial absorption trend just started, I would say, 12 to 18 months ago. We're seeing, very good appetite from foreign MNCs wanting to increase their exposure and presence in India. If you look recently only, I think India saw one of the largest office transactions of 650,000 square feet taken up by Airbus. Similarly, we're seeing large transactions, single company transactions in Pune, in Mumbai, even in our own commercial projects. So I think this trend, given the positive sentiment towards India as a +1 option to China, will be driven and will be continue to be driven by these foreign entities increasing their exposure in India. And that should hopefully have a very positive spillover effect, as we've seen, on surrounding micro markets, increasing prices, as well as improving livability and urbanization.
Last question perhaps is on this one point is in commercial real estate, when we talk about retail, e-commerce has again done phenomenally well. And when I say e-commerce, I'm specifically referring to quick commerce. Do you see that as a threat to retail space or retail space uptake? Or is it still balancing out somewhere? Your comments or your analysis on this?
Yeah. So I think initially retail saw a share of wallet being taken away from e-commerce. That was, increasing penetration and sort of reducing people's desire to go to physical assets. But I think that trend we've seen more or less stabilize. With quick commerce coming in, I don't think that physical retail like malls will be impacted, but we're seeing quick commerce have a great impact on the sort of the survivability of kirana stores, which traditionally cater to these quick desire purchases. And I also think quick commerce will take a share of wallet from existing e-commerce players. So I don't think malls or large organized retail will have much of an impact, but these two other segments of these two other modalities of purchasing might be quite badly impacted by quick commerce.
Right, sir. That was my final question, and I think I've run out of questions for the podcast. But lovely speaking to you, Mr. Runwal. Thank you for being on the podcast. Thank you so
much, Abhishek. Thank you for having me.